In this video, I will be going over lesson 21, which is about random samples. Whoops. All right, our first question here says, which statement shows an advantage of using random sampling? Select all that apply. Okay, so for random sampling, the whole point of it is that it is random, right? If you're doing a study that is talking about how many students in middle school like to play video games, you don't want to go and ask members of like a video game club, right? Because that is biased. You're picking people who you know like it to essentially give you false data. So random sampling means that you want to pick people from a bunch of different groups randomly. There's no rhyme or reason. You're just following like a pattern of sorts. So one of the main reasons why it is good is because it increases, doesn't increase bias, it reduces bias. So reducing bias is something you always want to keep in mind when you are doing some sort of sampling or a survey or doing a poll. Another reason is because it gives each member of a population an equal chance of being selected. So going back to our how many middle schoolers like to play video games, say I ask every third person that comes off of a school bus, right? Asking every third person gives each person an equal chance to be selected. There's a pattern there, and I don't know if that third person is going to be someone who I know likes to play video games or not. But again, it's random and it's reducing bias because I'm sticking to a method, and whoever it happens to be their turn, that's who's going to get picked. Our next question says that Brent wants to determine what type of music to play at the annual town parade. So he decides to take a survey. Which sample will give him the best results? Okay, so he wants to figure out what type of music he should play, and we want to know which one was going to give him the best results. So again, when we're going to this annual town parade, there's going to be kids, there's going to be teenagers, there's going to be adults, there's going to be some elderly, there's going to be a ton of different kinds of people, right? So if Brent were to ask every one of his classmates, that's not including little kids or adults or anything like that. So that's not a good sample. B says every third person who enters the town's grocery store. That, to me, is sounding pretty good, because if you think about it, tons of different types of people go to grocery stores, right? Parents go with their kids, elderly go, adults go, teenagers even go to the grocery store. So asking every third person who enters the town's grocery store, that gives you a large variety of people, and then asking that every third person, that is adding in that element of randomness, where each person has the same chance of being selected. Every person in a community theater play, that's not a good choice because not everyone goes to community theaters. And then D, out of the high school, again, remember high school is too small. We want to have a wide range of ages. Our next question says that Janelle is taking a survey to determine the favorite cafeteria foods for students at her high school. Which sample will give her the best result? Okay, so for this one here, she wants to determine the favorite food of students at her high school. So we're only talking about kids in high school, and we want to know what their favorite food is. So the first one says one person from each sports team. Well, sports teams doesn't really include a wide range of people in high school because not every person in high school is on a sports team, right? So we're not really getting a good range of people with just the sports team. So I'm going to say that one A is no. B says that it's 10 people from the junior class. Well, junior class, that's only 1 out of the 4, right? What about freshmen, sophomores, and seniors? So B is too tiny. C says 1 person from each lunch table. I like this one a lot because if you think about it, in high school, when you go to lunch, you go to lunch with all different grade ranges. There's freshmen, there's sophomores, there's juniors, there's seniors. And if you were to ask 1 person from each table, that is going to give you a large sample, right? I'm going to get all 4 different grades. I'm going to get different types of people sitting at different tables. So that's going to give me the best results because I'm serving a wide range of people. Our next question says that Rondi is taking a survey to determine the town's favorite activities for the annual carnival. She asked all of the attendees of her mom's book club to fill out her survey. Is the sample Rondi chose random? Why or why not? Okay. Well, an annual carnival includes tons of different people, right? And her mom's book club is probably pretty tiny, and they're all probably around the same age, right? So, first of all, I'm going to say no right away. I don't think that asking members of her mom's book club is a good way to get a random sample. And that's because she only chose members of a specific part of the population. Right? It's not that they weren't part of it, because they are part of the population. They do live in the town, but it's too specific of a part of the population for it to be considered random. Our next question says that Hans wants to determine the favorite pet supply store for pet owners in his town. He conducts a survey by going to a dog park and surveying the owners. Is Hans' sample he chose random? Why or why not? Well, it's closer than Rondi was, but if you think about it, he only went to a dog park. And there's multiple different kinds of pets, right? People have cats, people have mice, they have hamsters, they have birds, they have lizards, they have like there's tons of different pets that aren't just dogs. So no, his sample was not random. So these 2 that say yes, I'm crossing off. And it's because he only surveyed dog owners instead of all pet owners, right? If you're going to a dog park, it's typically because you have a dog and you're going there with your dog. So he's not including all different pet owners. He's just talking to dog owners. Our next question here is that Whitney conducts a survey to find out the favorite snacks for students at her school. She uses a random number generator to select student IDs, and then she surveys every 10th student by using an ordered list of student ID numbers. Is the sample Whitney chose random? Why or why not? Okay, so let's recap a bit. She wants to find out the favorite snacks at her school for students. Okay, so she is using a random number generator to select student IDs. So she's randomly picking these student IDs or these students that she's going to ask based off of this random number generator. So to me, that automatically is telling me, yeah, like her sample is going to be random. So these 2 that say no, I'm crossing off. And the reason why it is random is because each student has an equal chance of being selected, right? When you're using that random number generator, it's kind of like when you're doing a raffle, right? If you're doing a raffle and you're spinning like that little raffle tumbler thingy and you're picking a number out of that raffle, that's kind of what she's doing here, except she's using a random number generator. Each person in that raffle bin has the same exact chance of being selected like they do here. All right, that is it for lesson 21. If you have any other questions, please let me know.